Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Amirul Irfan. My metric number is AS13057. So today our group will present about diversity among the Spiralians. Spiralia is a diverse group of protostone, undergo debate but common classification include two large groups which is Lophotoxon and Platizon. Is bilaterally symmetrical and some of Spiralia have a leucophore that serve as collecting of food particles, breathing of embryo and also for respiration. And also some of Spiralia have a trophophore larva that make them free swimming in the ocean.
Okay, on this slide we can see the type of Spiralian. Here we have Bryozoa, Phoronic brachiopods, flatworm, rotifer, annelid, and the last one is Mollusk.
Lophotoxon can divide into two groups which is Lophophoran and Trochozoan. Example animal in Lophophoran is Bryozoan, Phoronic and Brachiopod. And the characteristic of Lophophoran is aquatic animal and have a feeding apparatus that we call it as a leucophore. Now let's look at trochozoan. Example animal can be found in trochozoan is smaller and annelid. Actually, trochozoan animals have a trochophore stage of development, and the characteristic of trochozoan animals is free swimming, marine larvae with pen or cilia that control movement direction. Now we are look at the Platyzoan. Platyzoa is second major group of Spiralia that have organisms such as flatworm and rotifer. Organisms in Platyzoan have bilateral symmetrical but they don't have circulatory or respiratory system, so the gases and oxygen simply diffuse across the body wall.
Okay, now we are moved to the life cycle of cytosome. Life cycle of cytosome start when infected humans pass their feces or urine into the freshwater that containing each of cytosome. These eggs then hatch into larvae and infect certain species of snail. After a period of development in the snail, they are released back into the water in a form called Cercania. Cercania can penetrate the skin of a human and can enter the body of someone. When in the body, they can find their way through the lung and into the liver, where they can grow into adult worms. Then they migrate into blood vessel surrounding, where they can live for many years. Some of cytozoans like to live around the bowel, whereas species prefer living around the bladder. These adults can lay thousands of eggs a day, and some of these eggs can find their way back into the water through urine or feces, and they can start their life cycle again.
Thank you, Amirul, for your explanation. Hello everyone, my name is Farah Alisa from Group 9, and today I will share to you guys about morphological features of mollusks, bivalves, rotifers, and annelids. So without further ado, let's get into it. But before that, have you ever seen a spiralian before? I'm 100% sure that you have. It's just that you are not sure how spiralians actually look like or how to identify them. I will be showing you a few examples of animals under spiralians. First, we'll start off with mollusks. Shown here is the body parts of an animal that is categorized under mollusks. Representatives are chitons, slugs, oysters, conchs, and many more. Mollusks can attain length of over 20 meters and could weigh over 450 kilograms. To think about it, it's almost the same weight as a grand piano that we see in musicals or operas. It's really big. Mollusks consist of three-part body plan, the visceral mass, Mantle and food. The visceral mass contains internal organs that are highly specialized, like digestive tract, paired kidney, reproductive organs, and many more. They are also always contained within a hard shell. The visceral mass holds the bulk of body that consists of parts like digestive, reproductive, excretory, and respiratory system of mollusks. Next, mantle. It is a significant cavity used for breathing, excretion of the mollusks, and also as a part of its nervous system. The mantle covers the side of the visceral mass, but it doesn't enclose it, which means there are space for the visceral mass to stretch out for movement or locomotion. The space between folds of the mantle is called the mantle cavity. The circulatory system of mollusks is open with heart and aorta. They have hemolymph as their blood and hemocoel as body cavity. Blue hemocyanin is their oxygen-carrying pigment, which differs from us humans and most animals that have red hemoglobin as our oxygen-carrying pigment. The nervous system of mollusks is made up of paired ganglia, connectives, and nerves. There is also variation in mobility as different types of mollusks move differently. Here we can see the difference in movements between a snail and a squid. Other types of mollusks are gastropods, which is the largest class of mollusks. They have elongated and flattened foot and also a shell that covers the visceral mass. Next, cephalopods. They can grow up to 20 meters and they have tentacles that helps them capture their prey. Moving on to bivalves. Some of the examples are clams, oysters, and scallops. These are the seafoods that we usually eat at the restaurant, by the sea, or a hotel buffet. The shell that is secreted by mantle is composed of protein and calcium carbonate. They have an open circulatory system. Bivalves bury themselves or swim when they feel threatened by predators. Here is a scallop trying to escape by swimming. I find it really cute. And here is a clam trying to bury itself into the sand. From what we just watched, it's clear that bivalves have no head or radula. They have a two-part shell that is hinged by one or two powerful adductor muscle, which allows them to move. So let's talk about annelids. Annelids have a hydrostatic skeleton. They are sometimes called segmented worm due to their segmented body. Annelids are hermaphrodites, which means they have both male and female reproductive organs in one body. Annelids have a closed circulatory system and they have setae that protrude from the body and helps it to move. Other annelids are polychaetes and leeches. Polychaetes are marine creatures that live majorly in the ocean. They prey on smaller animals by capturing them with their strong jaw. On the other side, leeches normally live in freshwater habitat and can grow up to 20 centimeters in size. Their body has transverse grooves instead of setae. Last but not least, rotifers. The top crown-shaped ciliar part is called corona. It is an organ of locomotion as it directs food into its mouth. Rotifers are microscopic aquatic organisms. They are only 0.1 to 3 millimeters long. The bottom foot extension can secrete a sticky material that helps it adhere to surfaces. In this clip, it shows how rotifers move. The corona is performing locomotion to bring food to the mouth, while the feet is sticking to a surface for support. Some examples of rotifers are euclinids that have circular-shaped cilia at their front ends, as plankna that can be found in lakes, and conocylus that are found mostly in clean lakes. Now that I have explained the morphological features, let's move on to Hazim.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Hazim Haikal bin Hadri. My metric number is AS13300. So I will continue the presentation on basic anatomy and physiology of a planarian. First, let us look at platyzoans. Platyzoans is the second major group of Spiralia. It includes organisms such as flatworms and rotifers, in which both of these fall under the same group known as planarians. They have bilaterally symmetrical body and they have no circulatory or respiratory system. Next, what is a planarians? Planarians is a free-living flatworms, a non-parasitic free-living flatworms to be exact. It lives in water, such as in freshwater lakes, streams, and ponds. It feeds on small living or dead organisms. Planarians captures food by wrapping itself around the prey, tangling it in slime and pinning it down. So, what is a flatworms? A flatworms is an organism with a single opening. It is called so because it has an incomplete digestive tract, whereas a complete digestive tract has two openings. It has extremely flat body, called the sac body plan. Flatworms have no body cavity, but instead, the third germ layers, called mesoderm, fills the space between their organs. Let us see how a planarian or flatworms capture their food. So first, as you can see here in the video, the planarian will entangle itself around the prey body, around its prey body, until all of the body of its prey is completely inside its the flatworm's body, and it will pin it down like slime to make sure that the prey has no escape route left. So this is how it captures the food. So next, we will look at the planarian digestive system. So how does the digestive system work? First, a muscular pharynx is extended through the mouth. As you can see over here, this is the pharynx, and this pharynx is extended through the mouth in a sucking motion to take the pieces of the prey into the pharynx, and then the pharynx will lead into a three-branch gastrovascular cavity over here, in which the digestion occurs is both extracellular and intracellular. This digestive system delivers nutrients and oxygens to the cells throughout the body. As if we recall, the planarian has no circulatory or respiratory system, so all of the waste molecule will exit through the mouth. Next, we will look at the planarian excretory system. Planarians have a well-developed excretory system. The excretory organs of the planarian functions in osmotic regulation as well as in water excretion. So the organ consists of a series of interconnecting canals that run the length of the body on each side. For example, over here you can see this is all of the excretory organ of the planarians, and it is on both sides. So blob-like structures containing cilia are at the ends of the side of the branches of the canal. This is the canal, and this is the blob-like structure over here. So inside the blob-like structure, it has cilia that will move back and forth to take water into the canals that empty at pores. This excretory organ of a flatworm is also called as phlegm cell because the cilia, the beating of cilia reminded the investigator of flickering of a flame. So next, let us look at the planarian reproductive system. So planarian usually reproduce sexually, and it possesses both male and female sex organs in gametes and gametes in a single individual, which is known as monoecious. So for sexual reproduction, the worms will cross-fertilize when the organ of one is inserted into the genital pore of the other. So in the first step, both of flatworms will have their male reproductive organ, or called as penis, inside each other genital pore. During this next step, each planarian will give and receive sperm during the process. If the process succeeds, the fertilized eggs are enclosed in a cocoon and hatch in 2 or 3 weeks as tiny worms. For sexual reproduction, the planarian reproduce sexually via regeneration. For example, when the tail portion of the planaria breaks off and each part grows into a new worm. So let us see how a planarian reproduces. So as we can see in this video, when the part of the body or the portion the tail portion is cut off, it will become a form of small body part that can each move on their own. For example, here we can see a small part with eye spots, and then this is the tail portion of the planarian. So overnight, the wounds will regenerate by itself because planarian have the regenerative ability. As you can see, the cut sides is almost completely regenerated back by a white tissue called a stemma. And then on day 7, we can see that each body part have eyes and almost completely regain back their original shape, the planarian. So by day 12, each body part has become completely new planarian, and that is how a planarian reproduces asexually. A planarian is a bilaterally symmetrical. A planarian exhibits cephalization. What is a cephalization? Cephalization is the tendency of a planarian nerve sense organ to be in or at the head of the planarian. The planarian have bluntly arrow-shaped head, and it has lateral extension called auricles. These auricles have chemosensory cells and tactile cells to detect potential food. And planarian don't have eyes, but they have two pigmented light-sensitive eye spots on the top of their head. Next, planarian have 3 kinds of muscle layers that allows varied movement. First is the outer circular, second an inner longitudinal, and the last one is the diagonal muscle layer. So planarian have locomotion, which is the movement of cilia on ventral and lateral surfaces. Planarian also have numerous gland cells that secrete mucus on which the animal glides. That is one of the way the planarians will move. That is all from us. Thank you very much to all for listening on our presentation.